Relias, Ashe, like a lot of interesting stuff. So,
will it come over here?
Are we going to have
question.
the double, triple, quadra support ban that we
far,
had
so
in
good.
the last game? I mean, Origen can first pick a support. Is it going to be the Nami if we're in a situation where, you know, we have the Bard, the Braum banned away by Vitality? I don't know. Origen may just get baited into it and then Vitality go, haha, kaSing plays Thresh.
Yeah, they're hoping they forgot about it at this point. Well, the Bard and the Braum are banned, so try saying that about 5 times fast. Got that one taken away.
Yeah, I couldn't even do it twice.
It's pretty difficult. The Ryze and Nidalee, I mean, so far it's pretty much been exactly the same. On Origin side, wouldn't be surprised if we also see Fizz, maybe the Karma again.
Also, Vitality with counterpick can either give that to Nukeduck, which didn't go so well last week when they were like, LeBlanc, counterpick into Vlad, didn't work. Or they could look to counterpick top lane for Cabo. Now with that ability to play more carries, it widens the pool, which allows you a lot of different pickups here. It's going to be the Kindred that's banned away. We did not see any presence in the last pick and ban phase, which, you know, in days gone by would be a very surprising thing, but Kindred did get a little changed. Not enough to drop Kindred directly out of the meta, but certainly just adjusted their strength when it comes to that jungle priority. No longer 100% to be expected in picks and bans.
Yeah, we might see Mightybear back on the Elise. The Sivir is now banned away. Xpeke will have to try his hand at something different this time around, but it's the only AD carry touched.
That means Karma and Nami are both available here for supports. The Alistair would be up for hybrid as well. Deficio talked a lot about hybrid's Janna and how much he would like to play that for a little bit of lane dominance, but didn't really fit in the setup in the last game. So for Origen, where do they go first pick? Is it the jungle matchup? Do they take the Elise? We know Amazing tends himself towards the Gragas. The Rek'Sai is available as well. Honestly, 6.11, we just don't have our first picks locked down.
No, it changed a lot.
So
even compared to like a massive patch that like the mid-season was bringing. It's crazy.
Vlad would be the one, perhaps, if there was one pick that you look at that is available here, but it was unsuccessful for Origen in the last game.
Speak of the devil. And he will appear, instantly pick that one up for PowerOfEvil right now. So the answer back onto Vitality. Let's see what they do decide to take. We talked about Swain still possibly being a strong choice, but they don't have to worry about the mid lane just yet. Looks like the Karma might be chosen. Mightybear still favoring that Elise. And we will get 1 and 2 lock-ins. Yeah,
that now obviously can be flexed between mid and support here. We may see Vitality just say, okay, well, we'll decide that on our last rotation, depending on what Origen have picked up here. Allows them to dictate a little bit more of the duo setup for the matchup.
Maybe pondering a bit more global presence here, and hybrid giving a little nod over.
I mean, Nami is
it,
one of the top supports that's available right now in this setup. With the Karma, you don't really know. You can't exactly buy into where it's going to go right now. And the one thing that Nami brings that the other sustained supports tend to bring a little bit less of, when you look at the Sona and the Soraka, you've got a lot of disengage, engage potential, like crowd control. There's a lot of more versatility in the kit than just, okay, I'm going to heal up. Of course, Sona always has the flash with the crescendo, but kind of turns you into an ult bot.
Not so much for the Nami, as hybrid does lock in the Mermaid, and we also get to see, of course, the Rek'Sai from Amazing now. It's been not ever really completely out of the meta, but we've been seeing it a little bit more and more lately than what we were used to. On the other side, Vitality, they could go right back onto the Lysandra choice. Nukeduck, don't do it. don't do it, Nukeduck.
Please don't do the LeBlanc into Vlad again. Was not particularly impressed with that matchup. You know, we've heard people talk about the Swain. I don't know whether Nukeduck has been putting in the hours on that Swain for mid lane.
No, they decide to opt for the Azir instead. They also take the Ezreal for Ryze, so this is a bit more back, a bit more pokey-focused composition for Vitality so far.
Also can go forward, though.
That's true, they have a speed boost. I give you that.
Is the kind of player that is like, hey, I'm just going to get...
That's right, he's just going to arcane shift into the enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot about that.
It just allows you to follow up with the auto if you don't hit the Q. It's great.
Yeah, there you go.
Constantly be going aggressive. So yeah, it's going to allow them now to look at their top lane. Karma is going to be support, so good luck ever killing Ezreal and Karma. Can't really trade forward into that lane.
A lot of poke here.
What have to play a little bit more hesitant of a lane into it.
What is Origen going to round this out with? What are they looking to do with this composition?
They
so
may
far?
very well go Ashe here, just for some engage potential, because that's one of the things that this lineup now is lacking, is that apart from the Nami wave, you've got kind of follow-up crowd control.
So Lucian is locked in at the last second. The Jax is turned back into a Poppy. So they've still got the disengage, but they take Lucian, who was hit by the nerf bat on this patch.
Yeah, he was. I don't think it's enough to significantly take him out of the meta. It's enough to affect his laning phase. His piercing light is now slightly shorter when it comes to the range on the end of it. So you're going to hit less of them coincidentally, or targeting through a minion and going. It's not that big of a factor when you look at everything else that the Lucian brings with the Black Cleaver build that we're seeing.
So the last choice they've decided to save for Cabochard. Does he go right back on the Olaf? It still worked out in spades for him last game.
He could do, and played into the Poppy matchup and looked to be fairly strong there. I mean, Lucian, you can still get onto him and blow him up, but he's a little bit more mobile. But key factor in this one for Vitality, they've got the Olaf, and now they've got themselves budget Sivir coming from support. Pop the mantra, pop the shield, and suddenly everybody's flying forward. So Vitality have got themselves a movement speed on top of that, and Origen don't have the same engage to really punish Vitality this time around.
Yeah, so Vitality definitely showing some versatility on their side, but we knew they wanted to chase people down. We spoke correctly. Should have all the tools to do it this time around. Origen, they've got a bit of disengage, they've got a bit of slipperiness to them, and they've got some mobility as well, but I am a little bit concerned for the laning phase.
For Vitality?
For Origen.
For Origen. Yeah, I mean, you're never going to kill the duo lane in the bottom side. Laning phase for Vlad typically goes his way post like levels 8, 9, once you got the levels under him. So the early onset, I would agree for the mid lane, and the top lane, I'd be worried for Origen. When it comes to bottom lane, Lucian, Nami, very difficult to actually punish, and I don't really think there's going to be too many situations where Origen are going to be moving forward into an Ezreal and a Karma and then get punished by the Karma. So certainly it is one that we'll watch, keep our eyes on, and figure out exactly how Origen are going to manage against the Olaf from Cabochard once again.
Oh yeah. Well, enough about what we think. Why don't you guys keep on hitting us up at Twitter, #OGWin if you think Origen can take this as their first victory of the split, or if Vitality will close it out with a 2-0, their first 2-0. It would be, since they've just had a couple of ties across the board. I'm sure they're sick of them already. We love ties.
We do. I try and wear one for every show, Pyro.
So far, so good.
So far, so good as we load up onto the Rift. Man, if Origen end up 0-6, that is a real departure from where we were expecting them to be, even with the loss of Sven and Mithy. We were like, okay, forgiven hybrid. This still is a near suitable replacement. Would never have lived up to it directly, but it has been catastrophic in the failure department so far as we're third series in.
That being said, it's not the same circumstances, but we saw a massive early stumbling block out of Origen in the spring, and they made it all the way to the finals despite that. It could just be the Origen boom and bust cycle. I don't know.
Now that raises an interesting question, Pyra, as I refresh myself and leave
Gotta stay hydrated,
a weird gap. Yeah, that, however, has big consequences in a best-of-2 scenario. When we're working on a point system, you cannot afford to consistently lose potential opportunities at 3 points time and time again. However, bottom lane, Xpeke is going to check in.
Oh, never face check. You should know better. Has to burn his flash real quick, like a lot to follow up. Exhaust onto kaSing. Xpeke should be able to escape, but Hybrid takes a chunk of damage as well. Ryze even tanking one turret shot. Let's see the damage report. 3 summoners on the side of Vitality, 2 on the side of Origen. They actually get off maybe a little bit better.
But the problem is now it's going to concede all of the laning phase. We spoke about how Lucian should be fine with Nami. You just farm up fairly effectively. The thing is now, for Vitality, they have ensured themselves an exceptionally big difference in time between the level 2 here, between themselves and Xpeke and Hybrid. Now Xpeke is no flash. Hybrid does have his, which is still obviously still beneficial, but it's all about how the rest of this lane is going to go. I'm going to keep my eyes on bottom side because, you know, Vitality, they aren't rushing it down. Yeah, they are just taking a couple.
No. Started out, we actually saw the same end result with just a slight CS lead for the Vitality side in the hybrid lane, or excuse me, hybrid taking the damage in the Australia lanes we saw last game. But yeah, really, really rough with all the poke. Even nails another Mystic shot right through the minions. There's just so much poke here.
At this point, Origen have to just concede so much distance in the lane here because you can see Vitality, they push themselves up past their own melee creeps. So as long as they don't hit with autos onto Origen, they won't actually take the aggro from the minion wave here. So Vitality, they're not actually losing too much here as they push forward. They're really harassing down Xpeke. Already have a waves advantage over him when it comes to CS. And they're punishing it with the health onto hybrid as well. Just taking him down and poking again and again. Still level 1 for Origen. Mid lane Viktor, we spoke about this in the previous game. Going to be able to at least withstand the Vlad for now.
Yeah, that matchup definitely discussed at length. PowerOfEvil favoring it right now. Was able to push up just a little bit. Curious to see where these junglers go because Mightybear back on this Elise. He had so much pressure last game, but he obviously directed it down towards the bottom where there were solo lanes. This time, there's another Infernal Drake, so we might even see it even further down bot.
Yeah, I mean, kaSing just dropped an early ward. Just a spot to see whether Amazing was coming down. It was good timing because he actually ran into Amazing in the river. So knows that if they're that far pushed up, they have to be warding Tribush, warding river, making sure that there's no gank path from this Rek'Sai that is unseen on the way into the lane. But for Vitality, this couldn't have been a much better start for their bottom lane. It's a poke lane, and they already got a level advantage and a CS advantage.
Xpeke finally is able to hit 3 alongside hybrid. Still having a lot of trouble. He has caught up a bit in farm, but he's being punished for it. kaSing straightforward and through. Bind right onto him. Mightybear coming around the side. Can he nail the cocoon? He does. Flashing forward, and Xpeke, even with the heal, he's not going to last very long. That's first blood, and it's Reje who picks it up.
Once again, it's just another play from Mightybear that opens the game up. However, Cabochard, very similar to game 1, has to be careful with Amazing around the top side. All of that trade from kaSing looked to be a little over-aggressive, but the fact was he was burning the dash from Xpeke. No flash and no dash available meant Xpeke only had heal. It was not enough after the flash cocoon, and Mightybear from last week, where we weren't too sure on his performance, has really helped the early game of Vitality this week. Cabo top lane though.
Pick the bop up for just a second. Cabochard going a little bit low, but the Viking very dangerous. He could pick up sOAZ, but no! The minions can't finish the job. And the gank is successful, but it was real close.
Same thing as in game 1 here. Cabo gets focused in the early game and very nearly manages to pick himself up a kill. He trades so heavily onto sOAZ, and as he said, minions nearly got it, but it was Amazing tanking them up that kept him alive. But for Vitality, they're going to teleport right back up there with Cabochard, try and keep that pressure on because they know Cabo can open up a big disparity between himself and sOAZ because sOAZ didn't get that kill. So it doesn't really assist sOAZ all that much, but if Amazing comes back around, that's an Olaf with no flash. Is he anticipating a gank 30 seconds later up in that top lane?
Knowing what he was able to do last game, they got a keen off on him. Power taking a chunk of laser damage, burning down. The pool was still on him. Now we turn our attention back up towards the top after the narrow escape. Can Cabochard pull it off himself? Very low, no ghost to walk it out. He gets slowed, he gets taken out. It's Amazing with another kill.
Much better from Amazing this game. Last game he was getting killed by Mightybear, but bottom lane there's a trade. It's going to really expire after kaSing can't quite get the lockdown. But Amazing goes from being killed in the early game twice now to getting 2 kills for himself. He's going to be a very tanky Rek'Sai by focusing on Cabochard and now assisting sOAZ significantly in the top lane.
And Mightybear has had no presence as a contrast to his last game. He's just going to be on cleanup duty for the time being.
So Mightybear's focus was on where Vitality already had their lead. He was looking bottom side.
He did get the assist.
He wanted to be able to continue getting the advantage for Reje and kaSing in that bottom lane. They still hold themselves a better wave in advantage, but you can see Xpeke and Hybrid now trading a little bit more effectively now, looking to go forward with the Lucian again and again. So Mightybear looked to expand on a lead that was already there, whereas Amazing actually creates a sense of lead up in the top side for Origen, and it's what honestly Origen have been lacking, is the ability to get their lanes into a position where they can maybe carry. sOAZ could be in that situation, but he didn't get the kills. They went over to Amazing,
who is not finding a whole lot for himself to take in the jungle. Might as well just start focusing back around the sides of the lanes. Is he interested in coming down in the bottom side? Maybe hard to do with that ward in the brush outside the jungle. Instead, he's just going to grab himself the Braum. See Mightybear hanging out in the top side, trying to bait sOAZ in. No teleport, but flashes available and a ghost available for Cabochard. sOAZ is still playing this one fairly safe, though.
Look at the ward and vision control on the bottom side for Origen. This is actually fairly significant for this early on in the game. 3 in the jungle, 2 pinks in the river. They know that Mightybear cannot be in his bottom side jungle right now. He can only be top, which is why sOAZ is playing so passive here. Now Amazing even is going to get the Rift Spirit. If Amazing was playing something that wasn't Rek'Sai, maybe the Elise, you may have seen him look for that Infernal Drake with this knowledge that Mightybear was nothing there. The fact of the matter is Rek'Sai can't do that on her own, and no real presence to get there. But what Rek'Sai does have a strength on is gank, paths into the lane.
There we go. So he turns for kaSing, who just keeps on walking, but Reje, a lot of damage dealt onto him. He's going to have to nom on the biscuit to stay healthy there. So Amazing might have surprised him for just a moment, but they do walk it out. Mightybear still back in his own jungle. sOAZ is going to clear some wards as well. So much quieter game compared to what we had in the previous one, despite the fact that it went to 45 minutes in. Yeah. Vision control being paramount to these two teams to start things off. Very even, 400 gold differentiating, and that's Vitality who has that lead, but mostly off of CSing. PowerOfEvil taking a bit of hope as he damages Nukeduck right back in return. Game of Plagues on, he goes, but Mightybear is there. So is Amazing.
Yeah, so is Amazing, but looking at some of the plays Amazing has made in the last couple of seconds, Amazing attempted to get in the bottom side, didn't get the knockup, so unfortunately wasn't quite as clean as they would have liked. They would have been able to at least get the flash from kaSing. But for Vitality's sake, Amazing has been causing a lot more trouble this game than he was in the last. And because of that, Amazing is like, okay, well, I'm going to play a selfless game here. I'm going to go wards from the Sightstone with level 3 boots for now. kaSing,
knocked him up. He does force the flash away. There's the culling on kaSing, very low. Amazing doesn't need to finish the job. Xpeke gets it with the last chunk of the culling.
Yeah, the culling just enough to punish kaSing.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Amazing playing altruistically, but he did get the first 2 kills himself, so I'm sure he's not complaining.
But he's now converted that into helping the team out, because he's able to ward better, he's able to be around the map better, to facilitate his team on these ganks. So expect him now to stop taking the kills. And
give that blue.
Gets the blue.
Nukeducks. So they can't quite take the jungle away just yet. sOAZ and Cabochard trying to trade. sOAZ was already off on the wrong foot, though. And Cabochard Ragnaroks, but not enough damage.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go into the tower, even with his ultimate running. Means Poppy can't blast him back for now, but if Poppy can survive long enough to get that knock-up.
Okay.
There's Rek'Sai.
There are no speed limits on the Autobahn. There's the knock-up. They look for Cabochard. sOAZ real low. Cabo wants to finish the job. He needs an axe. Can he do it? Minions are chasing as well. Steadfast presence is on. Cabo knows he's a dead man, and he can't secure it. Amazing was his 3rd of the game. In comes Nukeduck now around the side. He's trying to answer. Flashes for it. Misses.
He doesn't get it.
He secures it. Finally onto sOAZ. A double kill for Amazing. This Rek'Sai's everywhere.
Hey, I said Amazing was going to play not for himself. He's turned into getting all of the remaining kills from that. sOAZ was a very tasty target in the top lane for Cabochard, and Cabo and Nukeduck end up falling during that engage. I mean, Nukeduck flashing into a tower. This has got very sloppy very quickly. So here was the initial play onto sOAZ that got him very low. But this is far removed from the play that would eventually run into Cabochard's demise here. This was the Rek'Sai coming up behind. As you said, Autobahn taking that path. So sOAZ eats the first axe. Cabo does even pick it up. He's just waiting. He's got the cooldown roughly right about now after picking it up.
Oh, that was the moment.
Oh, couldn't quite get it. So Nukeduck flashes for the laser.
Oh, he
just doesn't quite get it. And then Amazing's like, sweet, I got both.
Well, let's go back to relative normalcy. Origen, they picked up a gold lead here. They're a little under 1,000. There is an Infernal Drake on the line in that bottom side, but if they can create enough pressure, they may be able to start pushing, but it's a lot of Vitality members hanging out there.
So Amazing
no teleport on Vitality side either.
And Amazing backed with like 2k gold, just picked up a Cinderhulk completely. He went from Machete into Stalker's Cinderhulk.
Guess who's not dying anytime soon?
Yeah, he's not going to die anytime soon. Now, we've seen the return of Rek'Sai a lot because top laners and mid laners, as they always would do, top laners and supports tend to be bringing a little less tankiness, a little bit more damage focused out of the top lane specifically. So that's why you've seen Rek'Sai come back. You just go full tank and you have presence in team fights. And that's what we're going to see from Amazing, is follow-up engage.
speaking of junglers, Mightybear waiting, not moving. Oh, and he misses the cocoon. Amazing turns 180 degrees and gets out of the jungle, avoiding the spider damage entirely.
Mightybear is playing the game of, I'm just going to stand still. And, nothing's going to be able to spot me with that Rek'Sai vision.
It's a very effective tactic if you're in Jurassic Park, but
Reje dropped very low just from being in the lane.
Yeah, Reje is having a lot more trouble on the Ezreal than he was on the Vayne right now. Still pretty close, but they have caught Amazing this time. The second time around, he does go in for Reje, but not enough damage. Shut down gold to the Ezreal. That's going to be big.
A little bit over-aggressive being in that jungle. Was trying to tunnel out, and the Karma got the lockdown just in time there.
The moment we say he's not going to die anytime soon, he does.
Yeah, I know.
And Cabo, his days might be numbered too, but there's no more charges available, and Cabo is able to get out with Ghost and the ulti.
This is a very weird game when you look at how it's played out. So Cabo's been camped fairly effectively by Origen, and then that transitioned into Amazing playing super aggressive pretty much at all times. Nukeduck mid lane has Mightybear here, Cocoon lands.
He's going really aggressive too, but this time he's in some trouble. Hemo Plague was already burned through, and they try to turn back. Power will secure the kill on a Nukeduck, and now they've turned their attention to the Mightybear. He's got tower tanking. Or rather, it's sOAZ got tower tanking. And Amazing smites him down.
Smite down for the kill for Amazing. Origen are looking so much better in this game. They have had such a better early game than we've come to expect. And honestly, Amazing is showing up the right place, right time, all the time.
And he's even able to mop up all the kills. 5 on the board, 2 assists. He's at 100% kill participation in this early game. It's a complete turnaround from the one we just saw.
It is. It's such a big turnaround. Amazing is just able to be everywhere on the map that Vitality needed to be. The decision to camp Cabochard in the early game has really paid dividends because Vitality haven't been able to get anything else really running for them. They haven't been able to utilize the TP to get Cabo into other lanes, and they need extra time for him. Yeah, Amazing is soloing Dragon. He kind of is stupidly far ahead from where he should be at this point in the game as a Rek'Sai.
But this enables him to do so much. Let's take a look at this crazy fight in the mid. Power, it was a real risky play there, but they managed to get in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Power, he was so close to getting a kill initially just from the Proto Belt into Tides of Blood, but ends up picking it up the second time. sOAZ, again, teleport comes in, this time from sOAZ is able to get there with the knock-up straight away, and Mightybear gets smite down. And Origen, from what has honestly looked like a real tough set of 5 games before this, is this the game? Is this the one that is going to add a win into the column of, or at least a tie?
Well, a win on the game. I mean, it's got to do so many wonders for your confidence after such a rough start to the split already. The last game looked infinitely better from what we saw last week. This game looking infinitely better from what we saw last game. Origen really running the table now. 2 towers. They keep on moving up on the top side. Vitality are really on the back foot here, and we're seeing the flip side of what looked like a very, very firm and strong team for the most part.
Thing is, Origen now pushing in for the inner tower.
Yeah, there's no one here to stop
It's only Ryze that's pushing in the bottom outer. So again, another good trade in favor of Origen. From a Vitality squad that looked very strong in Game 1 when it came to at least making the most of getting objectives when Origen were getting small little trades, this has turned completely around. Like, Vitality are struggling to get anything on the map, whereas Origen have started to get every single thing in their path. Like, they've now taken 2 top-tier towers, and now they're getting the Rift Herald as well, after the Dragon. Like, this is such a good start from Origen. Yeah,
16 minutes into the game. They've got a pretty solid lead of 3,000. They have the first Infernal Dragon. There'll be a Mountain coming up next. They now get the Rift Herald, which, you know, I could say maybe is of less importance. They give it over to PowerOfEvil, so if that indicates anything, he'll try to split push up towards the top side for a little while. And Vitality, they don't have really much they can take.
I just want to see how this game evolves now, because Xpeke is still a big piece of the puzzle. As we're watching the Spider.
Very patient Spider, but too patient maybe.
Yeah, there was a moment there, but I don't think he felt confident enough.
Now.
He's now being spotted. Rek'Sai's going to come in, box in Mightybear here.
And he goes up, he goes down, but he gets knocked up once again. Can he get out? Skittering away. The gravity field will help see to that. Dangerous move. Vitality just trying to rely on some picks now, and it may be a little too late to get them.
Yeah, but they now realize that every time Mightybear goes aggressive like that, Amazing is always going to be trying to get himself into the fight. Amazing did use his flash to try and get the knock-up. Did get it, but it wasn't enough to pick up the kill. For Vitality, again, they're running one of these compositions that they're relying on getting the Olaf either in from the side or having like the Ezreal slow people down while Karma allows you to catch up. Amazing. He looks a little caught, but he's got the tunnel to get himself away, at least for now, but it's Hybrid. He can't.
That bubble did not go where they needed it to. Vitality collapsed on him. Really strange positional error out of Hybrid.
Yeah, it was because they were trying to get wards down in the bottom side. Look, you can see the one that Viktor just ran over right now. There's a pink ward that's on the bottom side as well. So you can see what Origen were trying to do. And this is some of the mistakes that we were seeing out of Origen last week. When it came to Hybrid looking to ward, different positions around the map where, you know, one person from Origen is overextended and they get picked off fairly effectively. Like, even in that scenario, it was just amazing. And Hybrid looking to ward, the rest of the team wasn't there. No real way to do that safely there. And Vitality collapse, get themselves a kill as a consolation.
So, at the very least, they get themselves a little bit of extra gold out of that. And most of the kills they've had this game have been focused on Reje, so they have a little bit more there. And you can see him, you know, starting to flesh out his blue build already. He has the Iceborne Gauntlet completed. He has the Manamune, and going towards the...
It's going to be Mortal Reminder, and it's good because it fits the color scheme.
So perfect.
It's Lord Dominic's that's
And he's got Blue Trinket.
Yeah,
he just needs cooldown boots now,
fits.
and it'll be perfect.
It all fits. Just got to get rid of that garish code now that it's
How long
stacked
have you been
up
waiting to use the word garish?
It's just in my vocabulary.
I'm impressed. That's all I'm saying.
The word garish?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's not what I would have chosen, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a few more objectives in the next couple of minutes that are worth fighting over, but Origin still have.
It's gonna bust out.
You want to just like grab your dictionary for a second?
Yeah. I could do.
All right. So as back away.
Top lane, he's looking for Reje because look, Raya's training with Vlad.
He's not needed
In the top lane.
All right.
He didn't even catch it. 1v1 PowerOfEvil manages to just pick up the kill on a 3-0 Ezreal that had flash and heal. I've got to see what happened in that scenario again. Hopefully Observers will get us that in just a second.
I think everybody got caught.
Mid lane, hang on, we may still have a fight here. Hybrid.
Nukeduck, a little bit of damage. He's sped up. He does get knocked over, but Mightybear comes around the side, and they turn their attention to Xpeke. Mightybear sinking in the fangs, manages to get one on that. The hammer comes flying, and they knock him away. And that's all it's going to be. So one onto Xpeke, one on to Ezreal. Reje going down a little bit earlier. We're just about to hit the 20-minute mark when everything starts to get a little bit more hectic, but that was a very strange turn of events.
Yeah, 80 carries got traded in that scenario. Origen right now, they're on the defensive, but I don't think Vitality can realistically push this through without their 80 carry. PowerOfEvil,
ooh, that was a close dodge from that Cocoon here, taking a lot of damage, poked out by the Inner Flame from kaSing. Very dangerous moment for just a second. 15 seconds on this next Mountain Drake. 20 on the clock. Origen trying to push down the mid lane. Big wave building for them in the top side. Reje goes and picks up. I really want to see what in the hell happened up there.
I do too. I also want to see whether... Amazing got his red buff. That would have been a sick steal from Reje, by the way. He ulted for damage and to try and... I don't know whether he knew that Rek'Sai just got on red. But
he used on his own red,
It went through both, yeah, but it didn't steal it. That would have been sick.
Yeah. Taking two with one. It
also means there's no steal opportunity here on Mountain Drake. Origen may continue to push here, which wouldn't give us the time to take a look at what happened in top lane.
Everyone's going to have to back from Vitality to try and stop this siege. The war of attrition for Origen, though, has really started to push them forward here. They have a lot more vision control in this topside jungle, in this bot side jungle. They can maybe start to force Vitality a little bit out when the Baron becomes another possibility. But for the moment, it looks like they're just going to be able to siege up the middle and do the 1-3-1.
Yeah, for now that looks like what it's going to be.
I mean, clearly Vlad can kill Ezreal.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take a look at it now, just on my screen, and update you on
and we'll watch it
again
up at the top side.
Ah, we will watch it again. Okay, so yeah, that's his Vlad damage. I mean, there wasn't too much of a setup on it, but it is important to note that Reje had his flash, had his heal, and he was like, "Oh, I'm dead already." As that fight started, but wasn't anticipating it. Xpeke gets caught out in the gravity field is what pretty much causes him to die. That one again had his flash, but it locked in time. I guess after the bad flash in the first game, he didn't want to use his flash too liberally.
He's learning already. No, that's good. Origen's still rocking that gold lead. They've now got the couple of very important dragons to be taken. And speaking of important dragons, guess what's up next?
Yeah, not this one. With Cloud Drake coming up.
Yeah, so that'll be one less objective to really fight over when the Baron starts to be a much more tasty option. And Vitality, you know, They're falling a little bit farther behind, but what's the saving grace for this team? They've got late game Viktor damage, late game Ezreal damage, and they still have that Olaf, but they just haven't really been able to get a whole lot of gold onto all of them. As they get chunked out, kaSing is trying to stay alive. sOAZ, they dodge out. There's a lot of damage, but they turn on to Nukeduck, and that Hemo Plague might be doing quite a lot. Power is on a spree, draining all the blood out of the Vitality members. Mightybear not gone down, and Reje does get a shutdown kill on the backside of it. Origen a little bit low as Cabochard comes in to try and push them back. It ends up being a 1-for-2.
Yeah, ends up being 1-for-2, but again, Origen are just constantly getting further and further ahead in this game, and Vitality, they're stuck on their options. So this was the initial trade here. kaSing taking so much damage from the culling. Survives a lot longer than he should have, and sOAZ actually bypasses kaSing. I think everybody thought it was kaSing that was getting hit into the turret there, but the fact that he could spy Nukeduck there, PowerOfEvil tanks up the tower without his pool available and ends up dying from it. So this could have turned in favor of Vitality if the Poppy Hammer had not dropped onto Reje. If he'd have been able to flash over the wall, we know he's the type of player that would do that. He would have continued to go aggressive. Would have been 1v3 though at that point, so may have been a little bit of an overstep.
As things stand, it's still a fairly good trade for Origen, but not without a few casualties, not without a few overly aggressive moves. But they find themselves for pretty much the first time this split, minus some moments in the first game, really with a lead that is manageable to maintain, because they can start baiting around this Baron now that 23, 24 minutes, it starts being reasonable to take if you can win a big fight in the area. Teleports, even on both sides though, this could be a very tense moment, especially for Vitality trying to desperately contest. Yeah,
exactly, but I think one limiting factor right now for Origen, I mean, they're going to be obviously happy that they're ahead up in kills, but the problem is 6 of them have gone to the Rek'Sai, which, yes, makes him very, very tanky. Amazing having, even the Titanic Hydra for extra damage as well. But, unless they can transition that and actually have him peel and protect properly in fights, go in and engage and stay alive for a very long time, it kind of limits some of the damage that they have elsewhere. Speaking of that, though, they've got the Spirit Visage built finally onto PowerOfEvil. He went Proto Belt first into Spirit Visage, which is a little bit of the inverse of what we have been seeing, but amplified his damage a little bit in the early game. And Lucian now for Xpeke has the 2 items we've come to expect. I would not be surprised to see Phantom Dancer be the 3rd item come out, just from the fact that the Olaf has pretty much one target in these fights, and that's going to be Lucian. And if you can reduce the damage, get a little bit more movement speed, get yourself away from him faster, that probably is going to be the best case scenario for Xpeke.
Yep, giving him a little bit of chance to step out of the Olaf damage. Xpeke takes a cocoon, but there's no follow-up available from Vitality. Mightybear giving himself a little bit more tanky stats as well with the Paralyzed Crystal Scepter, as well as being able to slow down a bit more. For Vitality, though, how are they going to stop these pushes, and how are they really going to secure themselves enough vision to prevent this Baron from going down when Origen so clearly controls so much of the map right now?
I mean, it's difficult on that scenario because Vitality don't really have any major disengage tools. You've got like area tools like a gravity field, and yes, you can pop the Karma E. I was going to say Sivir ultimate. It's basically the same
kind
thing.
Of a, yeah, you said discount, I believe.
Yeah, budget Sivir,
there we go.
In that bottom lane. Discount works as well. But there's no like Gragas disengage or Janna or the Nami that we saw in the last game. These abilities that are able to kind of set up Vitality to reposition in the fights. Ezreal goes through, was checking on the Baron, I guess, at that point. They have a ward in there, though. Or was it red buff? I'm going to double check on the Ezreal. Yeah, it was red buff. He was just picking up red with that.
All right. They've sent sOAZ back up to the top side to try and push away. The rest of Origen actually start moving a little bit closer down to this bottom. Rather, there's a couple still collapsing on mid. They find Cabochard. Xpeke sends the culling out, does not get nearly enough of a channel, and he takes an axe to the back as well. Amazing, meanwhile, is being chased up through his jungle. Reje, kaSing, there's flashes. They're going to look to try and get the shutdown on him. They do, and it goes to kaSing, instantly pinging for the Baron.
Yeah, they just managed to catch out. Amazing, where, he wasn't expecting a bunch of people to be at that point. They had vision control of the mid lane. They could see them coming across.
Cabo's going to have to take the slow path all the way back in after TPing. sOAZ let the hammer fly. There's the wave. sOAZ disrupting in the back. They have to turn their way away from the Baron's power, and sOAZ are here. kaSing, Hemo Plague was on him. A lot of damage being dealt. Shouldn't survive very long. It's Power who takes him with the Proto Belt. Mightybear low, trying to sink the Fangs, and they take out Power. And Vitality still managed to hold 4 members strong. Turn back to the regen Baron. This is still a risky move with sOAZ right around the back and low health bars.
Cabo can tank most of this up. It's only Hybrid and sOAZ here, but if he gets onto Ezreal...
Oh, they're going to take him down, but not before he gets the Mighty Bear. There's no smite available. Amazing is back up meanwhile, and he has ulti. He's going to send it flying. They turn their attention to Hybrid, but the Baron was stopped.
And that, again, a very similar situation to in Game 1, but the positions were flipped here. It was actually sOAZ and the rest of Origen that were disrupting the Baron, and for Vitality, that's going to be a big frustration, just like it was in the previous game for Origen. Let's take another look at how the Baron stall went. At this point, Amazing is already dead. He's already been caught out. So sOAZ catches onto Cabo, so removes a fair amount of the damage, plus the tankiness here in the pit, and that allows PowerOfEvil to collapse in on this fight. Gets Nukeduck and kaSing, and PowerOfEvil seems to have a sense of attraction in these fights to kaSing the entire time. Every single fight he's gone in on Vlad, he's been like, well, if I can get the support first, that should be okay. But for Vitality, they were dropped low enough that Mightybear ended up falling, as he fell down onto the Poppy Q, ends up falling, and that's enough for Vitality to back away with Amazing coming up. During that replay, there was a take on the Cloud Drake by Origen, so they now are up to 3 of 3 Drakes in this game.
Well, they got themselves all the objectives on the map, and they stopped Vitality from picking up the Baron up in the top side. So for Vitality, though, they did prove they can take a fight. They can win out as long as they get a catch to do it first. Amazing has to be careful of his positioning. He picks himself up even more tanky stats. He's now rocking, of course, the Thornmail. A lot of AD damage on the side of Vitality. A little bit worried about Cabochard, about Reje, but Nukeduck won't be too upset with that one. Yeah,
I mean, hey, and Olaf gets extra attack speed and lifesteal the lower he goes. So how about we get him lower and he can kill himself at the same time? Even if he's regenerating a little bit of that health, getting it no, I'm not going to try the word.
That's okay.
Just take it away.
We have 3 tries. Yep. We'll go back to the drawing board for that one. Meanwhile, sOAZ, he was able to grab the turret in the bottom side a little bit low as it already was. So now 5-1 in towers, but we see Amazing nearly getting caught out again. Reje, yep, stepping right on forward. Don't get hit by the bubbles. Moves on to Xpeke. There's the Ghost Blade. There's the flash. Is it going to be enough? No. Cabochard, though, running wild. Teleport now coming in for sOAZ around the backside. They turn their attention to PowerOfEvil. He is going to get taken out, or Reje is going to get taken out, I should say, by Power, who goes golden through the gravity, through the Chaos Storm. And everyone from Vitality scattering away. No more AD carry damage on that.
And Vitality really have no way of catching up to people if that Ezreal doesn't land the Q. You can see Xpeke had just enough to get himself all the way back out of the fight.
Amazing's ulting right in.
Amazing's back.
And Mightybear's a little bit low to really be taking this fight again. He's got to heal up.
Now Origen can look to bait, at least at the Baron here. They can clear the vision, clear all the wards away, and stop Vitality from pushing anywhere near it. With Amazing so tanky, he's hardly going to take any damage as they do this Baron. This is Origen. I mean, Mightybear recall back to the base.
Yep, PowerOfEvil, though. They might have caught him. They get the laser, but still, Nukeduck getting smited and knocked up by Amazing. Xpeke a little bit low in the back. They did take out a significant threat in the form of PowerOfEvil, and they turn their attention back on forward. Xpeke trying to get a few more shots back on here. Cabochard turns his ult back on. Ragnarok, such a low cooldown, turns to sOAZ. Steadfast presence, tanking it all up.
Yeah, Nukeduck having no mana, though, means that Vitality didn't have the majority of their damage. It was really only Cabochard on this Olaf to look to try and get onto a target, but the problem is he's no flash, no ghost, and his ult was down for most of that fight as he popped it early on. So Vitality in an extended fight don't get too much more than just killing PowerOfEvil. They cannot take an objective from the back of that. And Origen are able to kind of stabilize this lead once again for themselves. Now Reje wants to go onto sOAZ, connects a Mystic Shot.
Budget Sivir ult. They're not going to get any more than a few chip shots on. Next Dragon, of course, we'll have to talk about that because it'll force some decisions to be made. It's going to be another Infernal. Vitality, though, they have the tempo for the time being. They're the ones that are sending pressure up to the top side. Cabochard clearing the waves there. They had Viktor on the bottom. Let's take a look at this fight again. PowerOfEvil got a little bit too far forward trying to zone people away, and he paid the price.
Yeah, he was trying to zone. Nukeduck uses the last part of his mana to be able to keep it in tow. Xpeke very low for the majority of this fight. Does not want to get close enough that somebody can turn onto him. We are back into the live action as sOAZ is going to back himself away from the Baron pit right now. For Origen, this is one of the best performances out of the 6 games that we've seen from them, although is somewhat reminiscent of their game against G2, where G2 would ultimately turn the game back around and get the 2-0 over Origen. If Origen have the same happen again, that is going to be a devastating result. But right now, they're having trouble taking further objectives around this Baron area. They're getting stalled out a little bit by Vitality.
Who, frankly, are in still familiar territory, having long wins when they do take them away. But this time, they've had way less of a clear direction forward, and they're having to rely on being able to catch and outfight Origen.
Yeah, they're also playing from behind with a composition that, you know, has no real way of punishing Origen particularly easily, outside of an Elise cocoon or kaSing. Just getting that movement speed makes it very tough for Vitality. Again, ult comes through.
Checking on the Baron, although they had the ward down. That comes out a little bit after.
Yeah, it was a fresh ward from kaSing, so Reje was like, I'll check it with my ult, don't worry. And kaSing's like, hey, these things called wards exist.
I mean, as an AD carry main myself, I didn't know that.
Oh, Mightybear flash forward.
Okay. And kaSing flashed, or Hybrid flashed on back, and PowerOfEvil now looking to chase down the spider. Hemoplague is on. Is it going to be enough damage? Not quite.
Oof, you can see, though, how much Vitality are having to reach for these engages, reach to try and get any kind of punish. Now Mightybear has been pushed back. Amazing and Co may very well just look for the Baron. They don't commit to it right yet, but Xpeke wants it.
They're hesitating on this one, trying to bait it out. They do go ahead and start it with just 2 Ghostblade popped. sOAZ looking to zone around the side, but Mightybear has already healed back up off Fountain Power.
Powers no ult.
They're not doing this. They look to turn it around. sOAZ is going to knock Cabo into the wall. That's not nearly enough damage, but the culling comes out. The wave goes up. Vitality, can they turn this right now? Forcing the flashback from Origen just by being 5-man stacked. Not enough damage from Origen, and sOAZ now a little bit isolated as Amazing comes around to give him some moral support. They're just opting out of the fight.
Opting out, nobody has died yet from this one. Origen looking a little bit in 2 minds there. I mean, at first, it looked like they wanted to go aggressive. Xpeke dashed over the wall, but then Amazing didn't follow. They didn't commit to it, and it bought enough time for Mightybear and Vitality to get back up towards that river. Now Vitality can fairly easily push down this turret, maybe a second one, but Amazing is looking for a flank if they overextend here.
Some easy gold they could bank on that, finally grabbing the outer turret. Origen still looking to try and punish them on the backside of it. Amazing comes around the side, and the Prey Seeker narrowly just hits. sOAZ is tethered, and he just walks away from it. Vitality away from it. Vitality know how to disengage this one, but we've got a Drake.
Yeah, keep in mind that is only the 2nd tower that Vitality have been able to secure in this game. No dragons secured by the team either, so they've been really struggling. They want to go and try and punish, try and just rush the dragon. This could be a risky thing. Look, Reje is on his own. kaSing takes half his health in damage.
Yep, see if Reje can get back to the rest of the team. He does use the Arcane Shift. Dragon secured, but the wave is incoming. Will they be able to find the damage? They turn away. Origen give that one up to Vitality, and their opponents breathe a sigh of relief.
But now Origen, they're looking to pull back up into the top side here. I don't think they can rush down the dragon right now with Vitality still fairly healthy. Vitality are missing mana, but that's about it right now.
Just clearing vision away. Origen aren't able to get anything off of it.
This game has really been stalled out by Origen not really wanting to commit to anything, and Vitality being able to at least deflect some of the engage attempts. But then they haven't been able to punish. They haven't really followed up on all of that deflection.
Amazing takes a quick taxi just to clear away the vision. Just want to make sure Vitality are in the dark on that Baron. But you're right, Vitality, they've been taking fights, but just like Origen were unable to do last game, they haven't really gotten too much off it. This time, they rushed the dragon, and they managed to get out real quickly. Now, Amazing might be caught, but he does have the Guardian Angel and some team members close to backing him up, and he won't take too much more damage. Very tanky on this Rek'Sai now.
sOAZ on the bottom side has his TP. Cabo doesn't quite have Ghost available yet, but his teleport is up. He's not sitting in the bottom lane opposite sOAZ, though. So the problem for both teams, actually, is that these fights have been very shallow. It's been like one person gets caught, and that's it, and everybody else backs away. It's just been little fight after little fight, again and again, and Vitality have not had the opening they needed, which I guess is partly Origen not giving them that opening, not making that mistake to overextend. Origen, however, have started the Baron.
3 members on it. It's not nearly enough damage. They're going to have to back away. Mightybear throws down the ward here, and that means the game is up for now. So a lot of chicken going on, but no one wants to pull the trigger for good.
And this, we always talk about, is a symptom of unclear shot calling, when you just go, well, I think we can win if we get the Baron, and then you just keep trying to get the Baron and you can't get it. Trying to bait, but not actually being able to. It means that Origen feel like they don't actually have too many options available to themselves, because otherwise you would have gone for one of them by now.
Yeah, and they're clearly focusing on it. They send amazing time and time again to keep the wards cleared out of the pit.
The reason they don't have too many options in particular is no real primary engage for either side. They can't crack mid tower because of the wave clear that comes from the Viktor. They can't hold the side lanes both at the same time because they're not running TP on Vlad. So there's no way of them actually exploiting a gap in Vitality's armor without Vitality making a mistake first.
And so far, Vitality have looked better and better the longer this game has gone. They've started to close that gold gap, maybe not in actual numbers, but in relativity, and they've caught sOAZ for a second, but Xpeke sends out the calling. Doesn't do that much damage. Very tanky front line of Vitality. The rest of Origen have arrived to the party, though. And as you said, shallow, some chip damage on both of the teams.
Yeah, both sides. I mean, PowerOfEvil was coming from the side. One of the teams, didn't see which it was pinging the back pings onto that Vlad. May have been Origen saying, don't commit to this, because they used a fair amount to start it off. But nothing really as a massive commitment. They use a couple of, ultimates, like the culling, that kind of thing. And aside from that, no real expenditure by either team. Which means we're in for a long one here.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those slow builders where it all comes down to one fight that ends up having like 5 members aced. But who does this really favor in the late game? The damage coming out.
Hang on, Amazing has started the Baron.
We'll talk about it later. Yep, Baron's up, 3 members on it right now. Ezreal ulti, clips hybrid. There's a laser. This Nukeduck gets bubbled up. TP's canceled.
Yeah, I mean, Origen didn't have vision of where Mightybear was, so they didn't really want to 50-50 it against the Elise. That's always a dangerous thing to do. Yes, there's a level advantage for Amazing, but comboing the Q with the smite from Mightybear typically is enough.
All right. Let's talk late game, because we're about to get to it.
Yeah.
Whose composition should be better about fighting? And, okay, never mind. We're back on Baron, guys.
Yeah, no, they're just clearing it out for now.
Okay,
they haven't got a pink ward, though.
No.
So they can't clear it. I mean, the scaling from the Viktor from the Ezreal typically makes 2 of the members of Vitality strong. Amazing gets Cocoon.
Yep, they do sink the fangs in. They aren't able to connect too much more, but he does take a lot of damage on the back. The wave comes in, but Vitality are still stacked. 5, in comes PowerOfEvil. This is the fight that Origen are looking for, and Xpeke takes out Reje. The rest of Vitality bopped and knocked all over the place. Double kill for Xpeke, and they just clean house. Amazing gets his GA popped, but it does not matter. It's going to be Baron time.
But I was going to say PowerOfEvil could be the deciding factor on this. Vlad gets himself in the fight. A multi-person Hemo Plague forces Vitality away, and that's got to be enough now as sOAZ finds Mightybear.
Cocoon is on him, but he will have in a few more seconds to charge back up. And another tower shot. sOAZ is going for the long haul here to try and take out Mightybear, but a Baron in tow for Origen. Things are starting to look up for this team.
Mightybear gets the rappel onto the blue ward. Is going to...
Oh, the Praise Seeker.
Oh, he can't get
Taxi. Oh! The boomerang buckler.
Captain America in action there. Gets it with the buckler, but that's going to be Origen. This is actually going to be them closing out the game. And when you look at it, they're going to be able to deal critical damage. And with a Nexus Towers exposed right now, Origen should be able to recall, reset, and maybe even push this through with a number of cannon minions here. But they want to play this carefully and make sure that they get enough damage down that they can end this on the next push.
Not trying to get too hyphy. They have themselves an 8,000 gold advantage. They've got every Drake except the one Vitality snuck, or rather rushed down, and they have the Baron buff. So for now, they try to stay safe, except for Xpeke, who backs right on a ward.
Backing on a ward. I was looking elsewhere on that one. Looked like a fairly simple mistake, but I will double check it on my side of things.
Well, he's technically a rookie in the AD carry role, so he can make a few mistakes, I guess. But Elder Drake is up. That's bad timing. 40 seconds on to Xpeke. Vitality, though, don't feel safe enough to try and start this off. They do. Never mind. They turn it around.
Yeah, they're going to turn around. Yeah.
They waited just a minute, but there's still the smite here. Amazing is going to be able to sniff this one out right now, and he's going to be calling for the rest of his team. Power's not coming, though. This actually could just be a steal attempt.
They're conceding this, apart from the 50-50 steal, which means sOAZ realistically shouldn't go in on this.
No, they might have to give this one up. sOAZ is going to try and send the hammer out. They do put the wave, and it just stops the dragon for just a moment. Vitality are going to secure this, deny the triple buff bonus, and they get themselves a few minutes of a mega buff to use.
But this was what turned the game. Nice wave up through the enclosed spaces, and Power manages to get himself into the fight. Look at how many people are hit by that Hemo Plague, and he's able to just amplify the damage of everything else there. That allows Xpeke to get the double kill and set this fight up. And honestly, we talked about like how would one of these teams be able to take a fight without any real initiation. That was finally the overextension from Vitality into a fight that Origen had been looking for. Close on the steal, 70 health remained.
Hey man, we've seen stranger things with Olaf axes in the European LCS, that's for sure.
And this was just a tidy up kill onto Mightybear.
Yep. Oh, I gotta watch that buckler again. Look at this.
Got him. But what we do have to look at is Origen pushing through on the top side now. They're about to stack up a fairly sizable wave here. Vitality, they have Viktor, they got Ezreal, but aside from that...
They've got the Elder Dragon buff here, a little bit amplifying their one
Mightybear.
Infernal. Mightybear tanks a lot of damage after being bubbled up, but
not a lot of damage.
Not actually a lot. He's got a lot of armor, it's okay.
Well, here's one of the problems here is, yes, okay, Lucian typically wouldn't do too much from that, but this Lucian build with the Black Cleaver, with the Ghost Blade, without the percentage penetration that comes from the Last Whisper items, you actually really struggle to deal with tanks in the late game on Lucian, which is why we'll actually probably see Xpeke swap completely, sell the Ghost Blade once he's kind of item capped on his current items, and look for the likes of a Last Whisper instead of the Black Cleaver. Get yourself extra crit, get yourself those kind of tank buster stats where you don't have to hit a tank 6 times to reduce their armor. Every time you hit them it hurts, but we're a long way away from that happening despite being 43 minutes in.
Yeah, there is a lot of armor that he's going to have to start treading through. In all honesty, between Cabochard and Mightybear, it's starting to be a little bit tougher for the new Origen AD carry. 44 minutes on the clock we're about to hit. 5k gold for Origen, 7 towers to 3. But it's been Vitality holding firm, saying, no, you will not pass into this base and take us all out. But, you know, naked Dead Inhibitor, naked Nexus turrets in the mid lane, they've been able to push that back for now. But they've lost out, or they've now lost the Dragon, the Elder Dragon stack. They're going to have to be very, very careful not to get caught up by Origen and risk getting the game ended on them once again.
Yeah, but at the same time, Vitality, they still have potency in the late game. They've still got the Ezreal, they've got the Viktor. And if Olaf finds his way through the fight onto Xpeke and take him out, and that only really leaves PowerOfEvil as a threat in the fights. And he's a tough threat to deal with, but it's kind of on Cabochard's shoulders. A good flank, just like PowerOfEvil did in the last game, could turn the fight in the side of Vitality. So it's still on a knife edge, this game. We got to the point where the gold lead actually isn't significant anymore. It's only 5k between Origen and Vitality. We're at the point where one fight wins or loses the game.
Oh,
and Origen think they've got the fight here.
Yep, clearing the waves, getting a little damage onto Cabochard. sOAZ amazing there to join him. The rest of the team starting to stack up. They need to push the minions away. Vitality do, but now they've got more minions to deal with and more lanes, but they do get to clear away. Origen are foiled for now.
Foiled for now, but with the mid lane inhibitor being down, it's going to push the minions through and allow Origen to siege up bot side, but they haven't got the best siege either.
No, they may want to wait out for another Baron, in all honesty. It's going to be a minute and a half before that comes up. They obviously have had the neutral objective advantage in the vast majority of this game.
Yeah, this has been an incredibly tentative game, though. Real slow-paced. Vitality maybe looking to speed up onto Xpeke. Inhib's even back up now.
Yep. Inhib back up in the middle. No more tower to defend it. So the base is a little bit more open, but Vitality have managed to seal the holes for now. It'll be very tough to see if Origen can break into this one. Tense moment for them. They had a chance to maybe push in a little bit too far earlier, but they did opt to play it out a lot safer. This team just looks so much different, so much better than what we saw from last week, but still, some problems are there.
I mean, you've heard the expression, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yep.
This is like the opposite. This is two things that don't want to move. Just standing aside from each other like on a pitched battle. Like, yeah, we see you. We see you for now. Neither team really wants to fight. It's going to be the Baron that you're talking about that will actually set this up.
Yeah.
Which does lead for a very slow pace to this one.
Well, after what we saw in the last game, we couldn't have later games that are just so much more opposite. Everyone's starting to cap out on their builds. Guardian Angels aplenty. I mean, they'll have to shred through quite a lot to finish it off.
Yeah, we're basically playing Hexakill right now.
Yeah.
It's actually 6v6. Also, another thing we're starting to see compensate for the lack of crit in the Lucian build is the Zeke's Harbinger. Hybrid's had it for a long time in this game now.
Yeah.
So he's picked that one up.
You talked about that actually quite at length in your article a few weeks ago.
It did. Ooh, Reje.
Oh boy, Reje, half the health is taken. They knock him in. They take him down. It's sOAZ who finally picks it up with a hammer shot. And now Nukeduck is going incredibly low. Origen have found their mark to get back into this and end it. Mightybear isolated from the team. kaSing now has to speed himself up, but there is a naked inhibitor all for the taking, and Origen are right on it.
Yeah, at this point, Origen are just going to go inhib and maybe even just look to push with the cannon minion that's there. I mean, look, Ezreal and Viktor are not alive here, so depending on who comes back to defend and who is in position for Vitality, this might just be an attempted push onto the end. They got that Mountain Drake, remember?
Yep, not a lot of minions, but they don't seem to need him right now. It's a 4v3 looking for Cabochard to try and chase him down to finish the job. Amazing. Picks up kaSing. This could be the game. Origen looking to find their first win on the split, and they will do it here to tie the series up. They just got a trip through Mightybear. No problem. That's the last Nexus turret, and in a 48-minute slugfest, it looked like it was slowing down, but that's going to be it. Origen come up with a victory to finish the series at 1-1.
Origen with an important first win of the split for themselves, and I mean, there were so many questions about the replacement AD carry coming in for Xpeke, but you have to admit, there was a sense of more togetherness for the team, a little bit more on the same page than we saw in week 1. Maybe it was the compositions, maybe it was just
something.
The calling.
Xpeke magic.
I wouldn't say it was enough to breathe a sigh of relief for every problem, but still Origen looking better. An improved Origen in week 2.
Well, you know, the sense was that it could either keep falling apart and Origen would just completely collapse, but they did the opposite. They turned it around, they said, no, enough is enough. We're going to start playing better, and we saw the result today. There's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of split left to do it. But this already looks like a changed team.
You know, we were talking about this earlier, that if you last split saw 0-4 on an Origen record, you'd be like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world. And then, of course, now that we're in best of 2s, that's 2 best of 2s, which is 6 points that they lost out on, but it was only 1 week of games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're clearly looking to fix the issues that they've got. And as a temporary point now onto their points total for the split, I guess they'll not breathe a happy sigh, but it's a sigh of relief. But for their opponents, the other side for Vitality.
A sigh of exasperation at another time, maybe?
Yeah, another tie for Vitality, 1-1. It looked pretty good for them in the first game. They seem to have Origen's number, but the adaptations that Origen made in game 2 and the way that Amazing kind of bullied the early game for Origen really forced Vitality to struggle. They had no way of engaging for themselves and realistically couldn't make their own plays and had to rely on mistakes coming from Origen.
And admittedly, they were able to punish those when they did come about, but Origen tightened their play, they tightened the grip on the game, and in the end, they were the ones who utilized the very, very powerful Vladimir, not to mention just Amazing's big lead in the early game to really kind of move it ahead for them. Still a very long game. I guess we can pretty much keep